Welcome to Season 3 of the Knack 4 Business Podcast. Over 300 episodes strong, we're here to ignite your entrepreneurial spirit with fresh insights, networking gems, and creative strategies that elevate your game. Are you ready to discover what your Knack 4 business truly is? Your hosts are Bernie Fransgrote from Creative Insight and Wayne Pratt from Motivate You Inc.
Today's topic is the visibility blueprint, using video to turn views into how can you confidently use video to attract your ideal clients and grow your business without feeling overwhelmed by the process? That's what our guest is going to talk to us about today. Our guest is Andrea Stenberg from Attracting High Ticket Clients. Andrea is the founder of Attracting High Ticket Clients and a video marketing strategist who empowers coaches, course creators, and heart-centered entrepreneurs to showcase their expertise and connect with their ideal clients through video. Andrea specializes in helping those who feel unsure about what to say, self-conscious about their appearance, or overwhelmed by technology to create client-attracting videos with confidence and ease. With her proven strategies, she transforms video marketing into a powerful tool for visibility, credibility, and business growth. Beyond her professional work, Andrea enjoys daily swims in Georgian Bay with her mom from May to October and is a proud mom to both a teenage son and a spirited pet rat. Andrea, welcome. What's your favorite quote? And you're obviously not going swimming at this time of the year because it's January and it's not warm here in Canada.
Although I have a friend who goes swimming every day. For the last 2 years, he's gone swimming every day, even in January. I just go in the warmer weather.
I know one of those people too. It's a short swim though. It's not all day long. It's not like going to the beach.
Absolutely.
So tell me about your favorite quote or saying.
So being Canadian, naturally it's Wayne Gretzky, and it is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I absolutely 100% don't subscribe to that philosophy. If you don't go for it, it's definitely not going to happen.
That makes perfectly good sense. Tell us about the journey. How did you arrive to, you know what, video marketing? That's the ticket. That's what I want to do.
I started my business before there was online video. So I come from a traditional marketing background. I started off doing copywriting for offline marketing. And I was working with clients. Social media came around. I started helping with the social media. Towards the end of 2017, I was really seeing what was happening with YouTube and some of these other platforms starting to have video. I thought, you know what? What I was seeing and what all my colleagues were seeing is video is the future. And so I decided I had to figure it out for me so that I could understand how to do it. And then also so that I could help my clients. End of 2017, I'm setting my goals for the next year. So 2018, my number one business goal was to make more videos. Want to guess how many videos I made that year? 3. And it was for exactly the same reason so many other entrepreneurs don't want to make videos. I didn't like how I looked on camera. I wasn't quite sure what to say on camera. The technology frustrated me. The first time I tried to edit a video, I nearly threw my computer out the window. Like, it was really close for a minute. And then come to the end of the year, and I'm like, I've only made 3 videos. What's wrong with you, Andrea? Beating myself up, rolling around to January. I'm like, all right, this is the year. This is the year I'm going to do it. I'm going to learn video. Then I saw an ad online, somebody who had a course. It was going to help you get over your fear of video, learn how to be on camera, learn all the things. I literally have never pulled the credit card out of my wallet that fast in my life. I signed up for this course. I'm like, yes, somebody who's going to teach me. I'm going to get guidance and coaching and support and feedback. Imagine my disappointment when this course was a PDF with 30 topics and a hashtag to use. There was no coaching, no training, no feedback. I didn't ask for my money back. I went through the program. I went live 28 days out of 30. So I got over my fear, but I still didn't have a strategy. And I come from the offline marketing world. I want strategy, numbers, results. I spent the rest of that year experimenting, trying things out, noticing what other people were doing, talking to other people. I did a lot of research on what's video marketing, what's working. And I finally started getting some traction, started figuring out what worked, what didn't. I've made a lot of mistakes for this year. I've made some ugly videos, I've made some boring videos. When I signed up for that course, I wanted a fast track to avoid all these mistakes. I thought, wait a sec, I've been doing online training for a lot of years. Why don't I create the video marketing course that I was looking for when I pulled out my credit card? So that was what made me really start moving into helping other entrepreneurs with video marketing to make them avoid the mistakes I made, fast track their success, and provide all the support, training, and strategy that I was looking for when I signed up for that course.
That's a good motivator. You're almost there, and then all of a sudden, I got to break out my tools and get her done, so to speak.
One thing that interests me, Andrea, is you mentioned all the reasons not to. And after watching a lot of video, I can't help but feeling occasionally you're right. Do you ever tell clients, really, you should try audio or maybe mine? What do you do when the product they're making sucks and they're coming to you for feedback?
Just like with any skill, when you first start, you are going to suck. Very few people are natural. Talking on video is an unnatural activity. So you're going to be bad at first. And what you need to do is start and then try to make each video better than the next. You can either do trial and error and take a lot of time and make all the mistakes, or you can get some guidance and some training and have a shortcut. Either way, you're not going to be great at first. But one of the nice things about making bad videos at the beginning is if you're just starting, not a lot of people are going to watch those videos. And as you get better, your audience will be growing. So by the time you have a large audience, you're actually pretty good at video. But you'll never get good and you'll never get an audience if you don't press record and start speaking to the camera.
So why is video such a powerful tool? Why is it such a potent impact? You can have a short bit. It is not like you have to give a whole soliloquy, right?
There's a lot of reasons why video is really powerful. One of the reasons is if you look at like currently right now, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, even Pinterest, they're all encouraging users to make more video. And the reason is their own internal stats are showing people want to watch video. People spend more time watching a video than engaging with other types of posts. People are more likely to save them. They're more likely to share them. And I'm not here to say we should all work for free for Facebook and LinkedIn and Pinterest, because no, we're business owners. We need to make money. If you're a marketer, one of the ways your business grows is if people spend time engaging with your content. If you can make a video and people spend 2, 3, 5, 10 minutes versus 5 seconds on an Instagram post, or they scan something they see on your website for 15 seconds, that gives them a chance to get to know who you are, understand what your business is about. They start getting a chance to build the know and trust, which is what all marketing is about. The other thing is if you're selling online, we all know there's some less than reputable businesses online. And if you're selling something that's either higher priced or where somebody needs to trust you a lot because of what you're offering. So if you're helping people with their finances, grow their business, their health, anything to do with people's children, they need to trust you a lot. And if you show up on camera, show your face, share your voice, share some of your knowledge and expertise, they start thinking, okay, yeah, this is a real person. This isn't some scammer on the shady part of the internet. It's not some unknown person. They start to feel like they know you and they know who you are, and it builds up enough trust so they feel confident to pull out their credit card and buy from you, or book a call, or click through and download your free lead magnet, or whatever it is that you want people to take. But you need to build that trust. And I think video is one of the fastest and most powerful ways. Absolutely, you can do it with writing. I used to be a copywriter, and I know excellent copywriting does work, but a lot of business owners are not excellent copywriters. If you're a successful business owner, you're used to speaking one-on-one with people. And if you can speak one-on-one with people, whether it's in person or on the phone, you can learn to do it on video.
What are the common mistakes that you can help people avoid even before they do it?
There's two main mistakes that beginners make. One is they write out a script word for word, and then they hold it and read it word for word, and they sound terribly boring because we're not professional broadcasters. If you're a business owner, you haven't been trained to read a script or teleprompter the way people on the nightly news are. Having a script word for word makes you sound like you're reading, and that's boring and nobody wants that. The other mistake is people who just try to wing it. If you wing it and you're on camera, you're probably a little bit nervous and you might have a tendency to ramble. You might forget what you're trying to say, and then you're just stammering and you feel uncomfortable. Your audience feels uncomfortable if they haven't clicked away yet. So you need to find that balance between preparation, knowing what you're going to say, and being too scripted so that you sound natural.
We talk about video, and although right now we're recording this and we can make a video out of it, sometimes you'll have someone who has an artistic flair, and you have the old 1930s no sound videos, right? And then you have the Blair Witch Project, like there's something suspenseful, and then you have other ones that are like genres, Western, sci-fi, etc. Is there a kind of a ideal space where a business should be in, or is it dependent on the message they want to deliver? What are the factors that would, how do these things all kind of converge to give a product out the door that fits? Because obviously, if you're doing the Blair Witch commercial, it's not going to be the financial market you're going to address or reach.
Yeah. And first of all, you have to think about who is your ideal client and what are they looking for? What do they expect? And yeah, and if you are looking for somebody to help you with your investments, you want somebody who looks professional and knowledgeable. I had a client who owns an educational toy store. And I said, your videos should be fun. If you have a half an hour where there's nobody in the store and you don't have anything you have to do, get out your phone and play with some toys. Have fun with it. This is like you have a dream business for making videos. Do things that are fun and goofy. And they did. They had one with a bunch of wind-up toys and wound them all up and then had them going on the floor and took videos of that. They had some of those games where you're catching and playing catch in the store, like really crazy, wacky stuff. But that's what you should do when you're selling toys. It should look like fun. So you need to think about who your audience is, what they're expecting, and also your own personality. Like if you're a shy, introvert, quiet person, if you try to be all zany and in your face and loud, it's not going to come across as natural. So you have to find that fit. And some of it is a bit of a trial and error. And some of it is also thinking about, all right, if I was face to face with a customer right now, how would I behave with them? You want all your marketing to look and feel like it's coming from the same business. I worked with a guy who was a coach for C-suite executives of Fortune 100 companies. And he had as his profile photo on LinkedIn a shot of him at the beach. I'm like, dude, no, you wouldn't show up at a meeting with a client in a bathing suit and flip-flops. So why are you doing it on LinkedIn where you're expecting to meet these people? You need to make sure that how you speak, how you show up, how you dress is how you would in person. Even if you never meet with somebody in person, you need to think about it. If you were going to go to an event or speak somewhere, how are you going to show up? You want it to be congruent.
That's super key. You wouldn't talk with baby toys when you try to do a C-suite conference, unless you had a really clear point to make using the toy going, and this is why we do this and not this.
You've actually inspired me. Andrea, one thing that I'm finding interesting is I'm a little off the wall, and Bernie and I make it work. Humor. There's nothing worse than dry. But what are the guardrails? When do You're not stand up. You're not Dave Chappelle. When is it not the right fit?
Humor can be dangerous because, what I find funny may not be what you find funny. This is actually one of the powers of video and even audio over print, because you can write something that's sarcastic or, that you don't really mean, and it's hard for people to get. They don't actually believe this thing. This is sarcasm or they're being a smartass. Whereas on camera, you could say something in a little snarky tone of voice, or you'll make a joke and people know, okay, that's not really what she believes. This is a joke. And people can get that. But there are some people who have zero sense of humor. There may be people that if you say something that's a joke, people aren't going to like it. So you do have to find a little bit of a balance. But again, it goes back to who's your ideal client and how do you show up? I know people, for example, my son learned the F word for me when he was 2. On the other hand, I've made a conscious decision my entire professional life, not even just when in this business, like back when I was a teenager and was a lifeguard. I don't swear in professional settings. It's just, that's how I was raised. I don't believe in it, even though I'm sweary in my personal life. So I know people who they'll do videos, they'll be in meetings, they're dropping F-bombs and all kinds of words all the time because that's who they are. And they will do it in front of clients because that's who they are. And if their clients don't like it, they can go somewhere else. Same with jokes. You have to get a feel for what's going to work, what's not. If you're marketing online, you can't be boring. If you're boring, people will click away. So whether it's humor, whether it's telling really good stories, whether it's having visuals that are intriguing, that go along with the story, whatever it is, you need to be interesting. So whether it's humor or something else, you need to do something that's going to keep your audience interested.
Would you find that commercials offer a good template? Because commercials can be short, get to a point. Sometimes they use some wit, and I'm thinking some of the Super Bowl commercials, right? Because they're one time there, and obviously it's an ad company creating it, and there's a lot of juice behind it. It's almost like the primary message is actually supporting the secondary message, which is what the business does. Is that a good place to kind of get a sense of, I want to mimic that style because it reaches that audience? Is that where you would go to the library of what might work?
I'm hesitant about using professional commercials from television because they're very scripted, they're very polished, they're perfect, there's no mistakes. And there's actually a lot of data in online marketing that shows that if your videos are too polished, too perfect, there's lots of transitions, there's lots of funky effects, people's brains go, that's a commercial. It's time for me to go to the bathroom or get a snack or flip to another channel. People don't pay attention. For example, I've seen Tony Robbins, and we know Tony Robbins has been doing video since before there was video online. I've seen him doing videos where he's holding his cell phone in his hand, walking down the street, talking to his cell phone. He doesn't have he's not doing the big polished production videos anymore. Another one, Gary Vaynerchuk. He's very well known for doing those off the cuff, or now he also will have his little intern following him around all day, filming everything he does, but they're not polished and fancy transitions and cuts. It's the information, and he is an in-your-face personality, so he can do things, but there really is a trend away from really polished, really professional. If you were looking for inspiration, like TikTok or Instagram Reels is actually kind of a good place to go, although there is a lot of memes and trendy stuff that are just meant for entertainment and fun and aren't necessarily business related. So you do have to be careful. Like in my business, I'm never going to go up and do a little dancing to the latest song. That's just not me. But I do TikTok a little bit. In fact, I have some nieces who think I'm really cool just because of a TikTok channel. But the point is looking to see what other people are doing and paying attention to what catches your eye and what makes you keep watching a video. It doesn't have to be people in your industry. It can be people in other industries. Do you see a style that you like? Do you see a way they present, how they do things? Can be an inspiration for you to then try to replicate that with your own style, your own words, your own message.
Andrea, I'm going to show how incredibly old I am. 20 years ago, there were talking about monetizing video. And the goal was that you got 7 cents a click or whatever. The ad or the video was the product. Now we seem to be talking about building your business, know and trust. What happened to the monetization of the video itself?
There are people who are, their business is, I'm a content creator and I'm creating content to make money on YouTube and other platforms, but I say YouTube would probably be the primary one. It is happening and it is doable, but that has to be your primary business in order to get to that point. If your primary business is something else and you're making videos to promote that something else, don't even worry about that kind of monetization and doing that sort of thing, because you need hundreds and thousands of views to start making enough money to make a living. Whereas if you're a coach and you're selling a $5,000 or $10,000 coaching program, you don't need tons of views to make a good living because you don't need to make that many sales. If you're trying to make money on YouTube, you need lots of people viewing your videos and you need to be lots of content and you need to know all the SEO and the keywords and all the various doohickeys and YouTube and all these other things. It needs to be your primary business in order to make a living at it. But there are people doing it, but that's pretty much all they do.
So if you have a 30-minute video or a podcast, we record for 60 minutes and then it gets pared down. We chat, we talk about things and so forth. But the meat of the content can range anywhere from 25 to 45 minutes in content. Do you end up doing a video, like a long one, and then taking segments out of it? Or do you prefer to take one, we're chatting about how to smile. Take 2, we're now talking about how to wiggle your eyebrows for comic relief. Take 3, what not to do while you're being filmed, picking teeth or something like that.
Remember earlier when I said I almost threw my computer out the window? I had to edit video. A lot of my videos are actually live streamed, so I can't do takes. I have to just keep going. I do edit some of them afterwards, but I generally just do one take all the way through. Sometimes I will edit those videos into shorts for YouTube and for reels for Instagram and TikTok. If I don't feel like editing, I'll just complete that video and go, oh, what are the 3 things that I said were good? Pull out my phone and re-record it as a vertical video for something else. But I usually start with live videos because live videos get lots of good engagement. Interesting statistic on Facebook specifically. I don't know what the numbers are on other platforms, but live videos on Facebook, people watch the live video longer than if you record a video and upload it to Facebook. Even when they're not watching it live, when they're watching the replay, people will watch it longer than a pre-recorded video. I think it's because you don't have all the editing and the polish, so it doesn't feel like an ad. But we all know when something's live, anything can happen. And you never know where the direction's going to go. Even if somebody has it planned out, somebody will ask a question, you go off on a tangent, you might sneeze in the middle. It feels more natural. And that's one of the things that I like about live video. And then the other thing, of course, is you don't fall into that trap of perfectionism where you go, oh, I didn't smile enough, I'll do it again. Or, oh, I stumbled over that word, I do it again. You go live, you press the button, you start talking, you say what you're going to say, you press the button, you're done.
And one thing that I'd love you to feed back on that you pointed out is technically, if you own an iPhone, you can put something on YouTube as training wheels, as the toolkit. What do you bring alongside? I'm guessing analytics plays some role, but what do you get or give them and they do with you instead of a do for you? What do you bring to the table that goes, yeah, I need that?
learning how to actually show up on camera, remembering to look at the camera and not everywhere else, which can happen, learning how to remember to pause rather than saying whatever, which is hard. And I still do it. We all do it. The more practice you have, the better it will be. One of the things I always tell people is smile more than you think is natural, because you'll feel like you're a maniac smiling, but on a video, you look more inviting and more warm when you're smiling. And if you get serious, which is really easy to do, particularly with a live video and you're a little bit nervous to forget to smile. So if you just try to remember to smile, that helps. And having a strategy of knowing what you're going to say, how you're going to transition to your call to action, what kind of call to action to make. These are all things, and which types of videos to make. So if you're a business owner trying to grow your business, you need to make different types of videos for different stages of the client journey. A lot of people think, oh, I just need to make this one kind of video. I'm just going to make teaching videos where I'm going to teach and that's going to grow my business. And it's not entirely. It'll help, but you need to have some videos that are going to attract attention of new people that have never heard of you and get them interested enough. You need some videos that were one of the things that always surprises me, but you'd think I wouldn't have at this point, is so many coaches, course creators, consultants, any of their content marketing, they forget to tell people they have a business. So you need to have videos about how to take the next step, whether it's a case study of how you help the client and then say, hey, if you want these results, here's how you take the next step with me. Or maybe you've got some testimonials. The gold standard is if you can get a happy client on video with you and talk to them, that's gold, but that's hard to do because clients want to be on video even less than you do. You need to have that strategy of all the different stages of the client journey so that you're building that know and trust with all the people, not just one segment of your audience.
Got a question for you. Doing a video, which is the primary part of our conversation. Makeup. Do you go through the art of makeup? I've started to discern when I'm watching the news going, you can tell how much pancakes been on the proverbial face of the talking head. Is makeup an issue? Is makeup a concern? Obviously, if it's jarring, that's an issue. But
I haven't, depending on who it is, there is a bunch of bro marketers who are like, no, just show up as you are. And they show up in ratty jeans and t-shirts and their hair hasn't even been combed in a month or whatever. For women, the truth of the matter is we get judged by how we look far more harshly than men. I never used to wear makeup until I started making videos. And the first time, oh my God, who's this old broad? It's me. YouTube is a great place if you want to learn how to do makeup. That's how I learned how to do makeup because I didn't know how to do it. So makeup is the thing that gives me the confidence to show up on camera. I have an autoimmune condition that makes me look like I have two black eyes if I don't have makeup on. So I wear makeup every time I show up on camera. If you don't feel the need to, I don't think it's necessary. It's for my confidence. I feel better. But yeah, I think it is a matter of have a trusted friend look at your video and say, how's my makeup? Does it look natural? Because sometimes, like I've seen people go, don't you have a mirror? And how? I've also seen some of mine and go, oh, that wasn't quite right. It's not essential, but my attitude is whatever you need to do to make you feel confident enough to show up on camera, do it. If you don't need makeup, then don't. If you were in person, if you genuinely wear makeup when you're going out in person, if you were meeting one-on-one with a client, then you should probably wear some kind of makeup on camera. If you don't, then don't.
That makes sense.
My buddy Bernie loves to get right into the weeds. And he used language like pre-roll and end roll and intros. Where are you and all of that value-added stuff?
When I'm taking beginners through starting to make video, I have them start with live video. If you're doing live video, you don't have the intros and the outros and the fancy bells and whistles. Some of the platforms now will let you have a pre-recorded 15, 30-second intro that you can have on your video. I am not a fan of those because if you've got a video posted to LinkedIn or Facebook, one of your goals is to get people to watch it, and you have 3 to 5 seconds to grab people's attention. And if you have a long-winded introduction about who you are and what your business is, if somebody doesn't know you, they really don't care. And if somebody knows you, they already know that, so they don't care. So what you need to front load your video is what's the value? What's the takeaway? Or is there some startling statistic that you can share that's going to make somebody go, what? I didn't know that. Draw them in. Take the time, figure out what your first sentence is going to be, because that is key, and make it really, it's a headline. It's like a headline on a newsletter or a newspaper. It's what's on the front above the fold of the newspaper that's going to make somebody buy it. I'm old school too, Wayne. I'm just not looking at about print paper. But anyway, that first sentence is the thing that draws people in. Once you get towards the end of the video, if you feel the need to introduce yourself, who you are, go for it, because if somebody's made it that far, they're interested. At the beginning, grab people's attention. If your name, your profile, whatever is connected to that video, they can click through. You'll have a description where they can find out more about you. But the front of the video is so important. That's where you grab people and drag them in, grab their attention.
That means there's a marketing hook in that process. So why am I going to watch the rest of the video? Why am I going to come to your doorstep to buy a product or service? Marketing hooks. What do you typically use other than this is the problem I solve? What other attributes do you use as marketing hooks to draw that attention in?
It may be like, what's the problem that this video solves? What's a question that people have that they can answer? Sometimes it's starting with a story, but start in the action. You know how in TV shows something happens at the beginning that's really exciting and you have no idea what's going on, and they go back in time, and about 3 minutes before the end, they go back to that original scene, and now you know what's happening. So if you can do something like that, where it's kind of start with the action, get people, what is this? What is she talking about? That's interesting. Some of it also is trial and error with your own audience. You can gauge what grabs people's attention. All the platforms will give you analytics of who's watched your video, how long they've watched your video. And that's something you can trial and error as well. Sometimes you might have 3 or 4 videos on the same topic, but you've got different hooks, so you can experiment and see what grabs people's attention and what doesn't.
Something I like to ask my guests is I like people to either share a success story from one of their clients, or even better, a train wreck. They don't have to mention client names, but something where it went tragically wrong, and looking back, it was incredibly informative and funny.
I don't have a train wreck right in front of me, but I do have several really amazing success stories. One is a coach. She was an executive coach, and she was working full time and building her coaching practice on the side. And she is an excellent speaker. Like she does speaking. She's engaging. She's intelligent. I think she has a PhD. Like she's really smart and she's interesting. Like when you hear her speak, but she did not want to do video. She was so resistant to doing video, and she was growing her business on LinkedIn. And so she finally got persuaded. All right, I'm going to do one video on LinkedIn, but it's just to learn how to learn which buttons to push and how to do it. She recorded a video training on her area of expertise and she uploaded it to YouTube. And then something happened. She didn't delete the video right away. So she went away, did some stuff, came back a couple hours later. And she was truly horrified to see that people had liked her video. There was comments. And she told me later that she was really mad that people had seen this video because she hadn't done her hair. She hadn't done her makeup. She stumbled over some words because it wasn't a perfect video. And then she said, what am I going to do? People have seen this. So the next morning she gets up and there's a DM in her LinkedIn. And the executive director of an association whose members are all ideal clients of hers had seen the video and said, we were in the process of making a training for our members, and we decided we don't want to do it anymore. We want to hire you to create this training for us. And then she just about fell off her chair because she was like, what? It wasn't a good video, but it showed her knowledge, her expertise, and her passion. The fact that her hair wasn't done, her makeup wasn't perfect, and that she stumbled over some words wasn't what mattered. This executive director saw her expertise and teaching style and said, this is the person, she's got exactly what we need. It was like a little mini trial run that they got to see. 99.9% of us are not going to get a client from our first video. But it does show that, like any kind of marketing, you can control the message and who you're targeting. You have no control over what stage of the buyer journey an individual person is. You just never know. And you have to hit them at the right time. That's why marketing, you don't do one piece of marketing and go, there, I'm done. Just like you don't go to one networking meeting and go, yep, check, I've done networking. I don't have to do networking anymore. Or why, when you're exercising, you don't go for one jog and go, there, I've done exercising for the rest of my life. I'm done. It's one of those
Do
things
that.
you have to
That's
keep
me.
doing. Yeah. So that's one of the biggest success story I have about a video. I could tell you one of a train wreck that I did, because I've done lots of them. My first webinar that I ever did, now this was back before we had Zoom and you could see the audience. I had a webinar and I had lots of people signed up. Like the good little presenter that I was, I turned off my phone, I turned off notifications on my computer, and then I went and did my 90-minute webinar. There's all these phones and pings and DMs on my phone of people going, where are you? Where are you? Because I forgot to hit go live. I spent 90 minutes talking to myself in front of my computer and nobody else saw it.
That's a good story. Bernie likes to know tools. Everyone has their favorites. What tools do you like that are better than, let's say, 800-pound gorilla, that get better videos out there?
The first thing is you need to have a camera. I actually just bought my second webcam. The one I had before I'd been using since 2010. The only reason I upgraded was because I'd gotten some scratches on the lens, so it was foggy, but otherwise it was still good enough. It shot it. You could get a 1080 by 920 or whatever it is video. It was good enough, but because I'd managed to get the lens all scratched up, I bought a new one. Most people, if you have a webcam built into your computer, that's good enough. If you're going to invest in one piece of equipment, a microphone is a good one, because there's lots of data that shows if your video quality isn't quite perfect, people don't care so much. But if the audio is bad, people will click away because it's annoying if it's scratchy or tinny or echoey. That's not great. With the streaming tools, it really depends how you're using it. They're all pretty much the same. Some of them have different bells and whistles. Some of them have different prices. So I say if you're starting out and you're doing live streaming and you need some streaming software, find something that's got a free trial or a free version and start with that. And then once you start getting some traction, you can start deciding, okay, I need a higher resolution video. I need to be able to live stream to more than one platform at once. Then you can start upgrading. The other thing is there's new stuff coming out all the time. One of the tools that I am using a lot is I've got a tool that will create transcriptions of my videos. And then I can take the transcription, throw it into ChatGPT and say, turn this into a blog post for me. Turn this into an email to invite people to watch the video. Pull out 3 to 5 quotes from this video that I can use for Instagram posts. ChatGPT does it faster. But the nice thing about using the transcription of my own words is it doesn't sound like ChatGPT. It's just taking my stuff. Because I don't know about you guys, but I've seen a lot of people, you look at a posting, they plug that into ChatGPT and didn't edit it at all. They just copied and paste. And it just sounds all generic and bland, which is exact opposite of what you want with marketing. The best tool I have is transcribe your videos and then do stuff with it.
Search engine optimization. How important is that for video?
It
How's that
depends.
factor?
It depends where you're using it. So, for example, if you're going on LinkedIn, there's a little bit of search engine optimization, but it's not the same as if you're doing a YouTube video. You need to be a little bit optimized for search on LinkedIn. Things on LinkedIn will show up in a Google search, but it's not quite the same as for YouTube. YouTube, there's a whole other universe of the optimization that you need. But one of the advantages of using YouTube is if you take your video, put it on YouTube, and you've got it optimized, then take the code from YouTube and embed it on your website, that dramatically increases the search engine optimization for that page on your website, because you've got whatever text and things that you've got on that page, and presumably you have it optimized. But YouTube is owned by Google, which is the #1 search engine in the world. So if you have a YouTube video on your website, you just increase the chance that page shows up in a Google search. I think it's something like 41% higher chance that you will show up on page 1 of Google versus similar content without a YouTube video.
What metrics do you use to suggest a video was a success?
It depends on what your goal was. So if your goal is just top of funnel, like you're trying to get new people to discover you, how many people saw the video, how long they watched, those are good metrics. For example, if you have a 15-minute video and people watch 10 seconds, even if you had 100,000 people, that's an epic fail because they were not very interested. If you had 30 people, but they watched the whole thing, that's some pretty interesting stats. On Instagram, not only will it tell you how many people, they'll tell you how many people are people who were already following you versus people who weren't already following you. So if you're trying to attract new attention, I've had videos where I've had 70-80% are new people. If that's my goal, that is fabulous because I'm getting discovered by new people. If, on the other hand, I'm promoting a webinar, I'm trying to get people to download my lead magnet, how many people actually clicked? That's an interesting statistic. How many people commented? How many people answered a question or asked a question or sent me a DM from that video? You should never just look at one video and go, okay, there, I've made a decision. It should be over time, like over the last 6 months. Has the trend gone up? Has the trend gone down? Has it stayed the same? And that's more important than any single video.
So with Zoom, you technically could work anywhere in the world. Are there geographies or regions that you tend to work mostly in? And so how do we get a hold of you?
I do tend to primarily North America, but I've had clients in the UK, in Europe. I had one in New Zealand who was showing up 4 a.m. her time every day. I was amazed. So the best place to find me, my main website is thebabyboomerentrepreneur.com, and that's where you can find me. And you can find me on all social media, which is Andrea Stenberg.
Andrea, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you coming in today and telling us about doing video in to boost business. And to my co-host, Wayne Pratt, for being the co-host, and you, the Knack for Business listeners. Folks out there, if video is what you want to do and you want to know how to do it, reach out to Andrea.
To reach the podcast hosts, email them at info@creativeinsight.com or by the website creativeinsight.com, spelled KREATIVINSIGHT.com. To reach Wayne at his email, Wayne@motive8uca. That is MOTIVE, the numeral 8 and the letter U.ca, or his website Motive8U.ca. If you would like to be a guest on this podcast and share your knowledge, let us know. We would also appreciate your feedback on the content or format. Check the show notes for more details. For these podcasts, we like to acknowledge the support and thanks to the following people: Carl Richards from Podcast Solutions Made Simple, a renowned podcast expert; Fred Crouch, who is the Property Wizard podcaster, where Bernie is a co-host; Jovan Strika from At Hive, a co-working space that is more than just a space; then Melanie Weber, Bernie's invaluable business partner; and Wayne Pratt from Motive8U Inc., who serves as both a coach and co-host of these podcasts. Disclaimer: Please note that the NAC 4 Business podcast episodes are meant solely for educational and general informational purposes. The information and opinions contained within are not intended to be professional advice on any subject matter. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by the participants are their own personal beliefs and do not represent the views of the podcast hosts or any affiliated organizations. It is important to note that this podcast is not a replacement for consulting with certified experts in your area who possess knowledge of your unique situation. The hosts of the podcast, along with any participants or affiliated groups, do not take responsibility for any actions taken or not taken based on the information presented in this episode. It is highly recommended that individuals seek guidance from their own personal advisors in fields such as accounting, law, or other pertinent areas prior to undertaking any actions or making decisions that may impact their financial, legal, or other aspects of life.